Thank you very much for that kind introduction, and thank you again for being the perfect co-chair. He's here partnering with me and everything, and I'm confidently and arrogantly sitting in the wrong room, which was pretty far away, but we're back. I am going to talk a little bit about training, education, and credentialing. These are my disclosures. Technically, they're supposed to be on the screen for 7 seconds. In the interest of time, not many. So my agenda is straightforward. What role can AI play in training and credentialing? How do we maximize the use of video and other data types in getting to the real goal? And how do we really get there? There are a few hurdles, and I'll talk about a few of those. So when I think broadly about AI and how it can potentially help us from a training standpoint, it's really, for me, one of the pinnacle areas that we have to focus on is really information exchange, information transfer. How do we get the information that we want in an efficient manner? It's really about efficiency of information. And the next area is really a specificity. I mean, how many of you have spent time on the internet looking for something you want to get, like a specific use of an instrument, or how, someone's recovered from an error or some problem with something, and it's so difficult to find. So efficiency and specificity, and I think that AI can help us because it's forcing us to annotate, forcing us to build metadata, and I'll share a few examples. I think what's really cool when we step back and think about it, simple algorithms such as phase detection and object detection have led us to some of the software interfaces that we got a great review from Dr. Filicori, with all the different companies that are, taking our videos. And how many of you are capturing your videos in the operating room? Well, still less than 50%. There is a hurdle. I've left a number of USBs in the machine in the OR. But when you look at this interface, I think the thing that's really most important is that no one wants to watch a 30-minute video. No one wants to watch a 4-hour video of an operation. If you had this interface that gives you the steps of the operation and you just click on the one that you're interested in, you're already much more efficient than we currently are without this technology. One of the studies we did, we worked with this company that had a database, and we looked at over 1,000 laparoscopic cholecystectomy videos. And this is the real case. This is the efficiency gift. Because we were interested in how many of those 1,000 videos, how many of the surgeons achieve the critical view of safety as defined by Strasbourg. We were to review 50 videos in an hour because we clicked on critical view of safety that was labeled, and then we looked 10 seconds before and afterwards, and we looked to see, before that first clip appeared, what was the anatomy. The other thing is many of the cases are labeled according to disease severity as well as intraoperative events, and this gives us that specificity. So already you can search a database of videos with multiple tiers of information to get to that really specific thing that you're looking for. We published these results in the Annals of Surgery last year, and one of the main findings, which was also quite interesting, our hypothesis was that disease severity would affect the accuracy of AI being able to identify the critical view of safety on its own without, after you train it, you do your training, and, perfect annotation, if there is such a thing. I think all of you who do this work know there is not such a thing, but annotating the videos and doing the training and then applying it to an unknown or previously unused data set. What we found was actually the opposite of what we expected. We thought that as, the surgeries got more complex, that AI would start to fail. It turns out that surgeons are more particular in their dissection when the case is difficult. And so they tend to work harder at skeletonizing and clearing everything, as opposed to when you have an easy case and you take shortcuts. And that's actually when there was the biggest difference between AI and the surgeons who were observing and looking at the videos in a blinded fashion. we all looked and were like, yeah, that's a critical view of safety. Sure, there's a little extra tissue there, but the annotation for the AI was so perfect and wanting those things skeletonized. When it's easy, we don't do that. So it's kind of an interesting thing that when we take shortcuts, it actually decreases some of the accuracy of AI. So what about credentialing? This is also pretty exciting. As we start to look at some of our national organizations, SAGES, American Board of Surgery, the American College of Surgeons, everyone's sort of looking at where AI fits and then what they have to offer. What's exciting with the American Board of Surgery is that they're embarking on a pilot with video-based assessment, and these are the companies that they are partnering with in terms of this pilot. Everyone is asking, okay, so now are we really close to having, AI, high stakes analysis of surgeons and, using AI for board certification? And the answer is no, not for initial certification. This was a tweet that was posted by the American Board of Surgery, John Mellinger. The goal really is formative assessment, not high stakes. And I think that is the right way to go. We still have so much to learn, and we need to get people on board and behind this, and this needs to be a grassroots effort. The surgeons need to own this space. We need to be the ones that say, what does this data mean after, we don't have to do the research, but we should be able to take this information and be part of the decision making. What does this data mean? How are we going to use it? And I think SAGES and other surgical societies have a major role in that. But formative means that you're using assessment as learning, as information exchange, facilitates the coaching, as other people have said. Again, so instead of really that initial certification, board certification, high stakes, it's really at the continuous certification, and the goal is that you will get continuous certification credit just for participating, just for turning in your videos and partnering with the board in terms of helping the board decide what does video-based assessment mean in our profession. So lots of work to do in that area, but very exciting, and I think the board got it right. So what about other data types? In my own research lab, we combine video capture with digital tracking, and we're looking both at technical skills, cognitive skills, and on the other extreme, a lot of folks tend to look at residents and how they perform in the operating room. What we really want, and I think is an area that's lacking, is to have a database of practicing clinicians who are at the top of their game, right? Because if you think about how we train residents, we're doing it in a vacuum. We train them, we have in our mind what we think they should be performing, but we actually don't have the metrics. We don't have our own metrics. And that's what we really need to be holistic in terms of having the full learning curve. So we are collecting data from practicing clinicians in a sim environment. We have actually learned how to use simulation as our RAT model, a standard place where you can have hundreds of surgeons come in and make the same critical decisions and performance in the OR. These are some of the sensors that we're using: audio, video, EEG, motion tracking, even eye tracking, and really just looking to see how this relates to the data that comes from when you use AI to analyze videos. And what we're finding so far, that when you combine the motion tracking with the AI analysis of surgical videos, you start to really understand some of the details in terms of what true surgical masters are and what they do, how they make decisions, where their efficiencies are. We had 255 surgeons let us put a bunch of gear on them. Some of you may have participated. And we are close to publishing our work. I can tell you the bit of a highlight is not only does technical skills matter, which we know, technical decisions matter. And we haven't really pulled apart or teased apart that language, but it is those things that you're like, even if you're efficient and you're a Jedi master in your robotic surgery, laparoscopic surgery, and you don't really have technical issues, it turns out that those things that we say are idiosyncratic ways of doing things, those things also matter. So stay tuned when we get our publication. So how do we get there? I think what is there and sort of defining it, I think that those of us who are in this space, how do you get to a place where we actually change measurement culture in healthcare, in surgery? Right now it's really punitive. right? We have people, they want to judge us, they want to rank us, you know, where's the competency bar? We're all shooting for mastery. Nobody wants to be minimally competent in anything. We want to be masters, and we all want to share our data. We want to do it freely. And so the dream is for everyday use and broad information exchange without judgment. Those 255 surgeons lined up, those are the early adopters at our ACS database, and they let us capture their data, sending us videos. They want the information. They still want it to be used against them. And so that's, you know, the message here. And I think that the main work that we have to do as surgeons, those of us who are early adopters and in this space working at high levels on the executive committees of societies, we have to address this issue. We have to be able to brand our work in this area and our desire to have AI and a database of performance. We have to brand it that we are protecting this from, you know, legal ramifications in terms of it being discoverable. So there are some laws that are already in play, and this one is one of the federal laws. AHRQ, if you write a grant with AHRQ and they're collecting data, it is protected legally, and it's at the federal level, so it doesn't matter what state you're in. But how many of us have grants from AHRQ? So it's a beginning, but there's still more work to do. State laws, not every state has this. It does in California, where if you're doing it for quality assurance, then it's not discoverable. But again, it's a state law. There's loopholes at the federal level if you don't have the AHRQ. So there's still a lot of work to do. And I think, again, those of you who are early adopters, you need to be in this space. We need to partner, whether it's with SAGES, with the board, the college. This is the final frontier in terms of us being able to reassure our colleagues who are the next level of adopters that they should be in this space. This is going to help us get to where we want to be. And this is really it, right? I mean, our patients want the best physicians, but some of the laws are to protect them. And so it's sort of this odd thing where they want the best physicians, but then the very data that could help us to become the best surgeons in the most efficient manner, they want to use that data against us, but then they want everybody to do this. So you can't burn the candle at both ends. It's sort of messy, and we need to fix it so that both sides in the equation will be happy and we can get to the highest quality care. Thank you.